Tonight on Hard Quiz, Lynn, public servant, expert subject, David Cassidy. Harrison, coffee roaster, expert subject, coffee. Neil, history teacher, expert subject, Anne Frank. Dan, student, expert subject, the 1868 Aboriginal Cricket Tour. Here's your host, Tom Gleeson.
Hello, how are you? G'day. Okay, Ida. Welcome to Hard Quiz. These contestants are prawns. Last one to go off will be tonight's Hard Quiz champion. Let's say hello. G'day, Dan.
Hey.
You live in the leafy suburb of Kew.
That's right.
So I'm guessing you have no HECS debt?
No. That's right, all paid off, yeah.
That's true? Oh, good for you then. Well done. Do you study law?
No, I don't.
Oh. What do you study?
I study arts.
Oh, you study arts. Are you in the law review?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Oh, that's so you're doing the law review, but you study arts.
That's right, yeah.
Why did they let you into the law review?
It's a sketch comedy show, so yes, just comedy skills, hopefully, not law.
Just waiting for the skills to arrive, Dan. I heard that you're performing in the comedy festival.
That's right, yeah.
So how do you think you're going to go?
Based on tonight, not so well, but we've got a bit more time to think through our jokes, not quite on the spot, so hopefully.
Well, you've got to be good on the spot too. It works for me in my sold-out venues. What are the themes running through the sketch show? Wealth and privilege?
No, it's a bit of a political show, so we've got some political sketches.
Oh, OK. What kind of political stuff do you do?
I think we really we try and add some much-needed left-wing sketch comedy to the industry. I think it's been missing for too long, so we try and add some of that in.
So your expert subject is the 1868 Aboriginal Cricket Tour.
That's right, bit broad, I know.
So how did the fascination with that tour start?
I finished Year 12 a few years ago. I was at a bit of a loose end, and so I did what every fun-seeking 18-year-old loves to do and just brushed up on obscure cricket trivia.
Neil.
Good evening.
Now, your expert subject is Anne Frank.
Yes.
And you're a history teacher.
I am, yes.
Do you teach at a posh school, the kind of school that Dan would have gone to?
We're all very cool, laid-back people.
OK. So where'd the fascination for Anne Frank start?
I think I taught it for a very long time, and then I think I realised one day that I'd gotten to know this person really, really well and suddenly felt really connected to this person.
Why do you enjoy Anne Frank? Do you just enjoy nosing around in people's diaries?
I think knowing about Anne Frank lets us know why history is really important, tells us what we can learn.
I've heard you enjoy visiting big things.
Yes.
Is that why you're here?
Anything... That's it. You're a tall man.
No, I meant the brass mug.
Oh, OK. Yeah.
What's your favourite big thing that you visited?
Recently went to the Dead Sea, which is a big thing, but because it was the lowest place in the world, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a big dip.
That's it.
Harrison.
Hi, Tom.
Now, your expert subject is coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Is that to fill in for a lack of personality?
Oh.
Now, I find people who like coffee, it's often that's the only thing they know about.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the whole reason I'm here, right?
Are you a barista?
Yeah, I was for a good long while.
And you got no sleeve tats. How did that happen?
No.
What lengths have you gone to in pursuit of your interest of coffee?
I've travelled, I suppose, a reasonable portion of the world, and I have paid as much as $28 US for a teaspoon of coffee. And it was just ambrosia. It was the nicest thing I've ever drunk, and it was just beautiful in Japan.
So how much does a cup of it cost?
It was $1,000 US for a cup. And it was 22-year-old aged coffee from in a whiskey barrel.
Yeah. Dan's like, that's cheap. No problem. So a whole cup is 1,000, but you can buy it by the teaspoon.
Yeah, I bought it by the teaspoon because I don't have Dan money, so I just can't really afford. Can't buy the whole cup.
Lynn, you're into David Cassidy. What is going on? Why do you love David Cassidy so much?
Well, the 15-year-old girl thought he was beautiful and loved his music and loved his voice. He passed away and I was really shocked at my reaction, as were a few other people that I knew. And so I started reading about him. At the end of that, I thought, wow, he's gifted and he's kind and he's determined and he coped, and I admire him and love his voice and his looks.
Now, you live on Magnetic Island. Does the Has the magnetism affected your taste in music?
I don't know. You're a fairly magnetic personality, and I think my taste is quite reasonable. I like being here.
OK. Do you find your cassettes always go blank? Let's play. Hard!
Expert round. Expert subject. Win or lose 5 points. Steal an answer, double points.
I'll ask each of you 5 questions on your expert subject. Right, you get 5 points. Wrong, I will take 5 points from you. The rest of you can steal at any time to get double points. To play along at home, use the hashtag HardQuiz. Let's start with Lynn and her expert subject, David Cassidy. In 1971, David Cassidy and the Partridge Family topped Australian charts with what debut single? Lynn.
I Think I Love You.
Oh, thanks. Correct. Cassidy's on-screen mother in the Partridge Family, Shirley Jones, was what real-life relation to him? Lynn.
Stepmother.
Correct. Yeah, it was kind of weird, wasn't it? Like, he didn't know that she was going for the role.
That's right.
Yeah, he wasn't living with her at the time, but he turned up and she was just there.
They had actually spoken to her, the producers had spoken to her about her relationship with him to see if they got on well, because they didn't want any onset, you know, stepson, stepmum problems. But it was fine.
I know. Imagine having a TV show with tension in it. Cassidy's debut solo album, Cherish, featured the song Ricky's Tune. Who was Ricky? Lynn.
Ricky was a dog.
Correct. Yeah, it was the first of his original songs that he recorded. He wrote a song about his dog. Cassidy flew to London in October 1973 to appear on Top of the Pops, but due to safety concerns posed by unruly fans, was forced to perform at what location? Lynn.
The airport.
Correct. Yeah, he had to do his gig on the actual tarmac, didn't he? He landed and then he just came out, did the gig and then left.
Yep.
That's what I'm going to do when I do a gig in Cairns. All right, last question in your set, Lynn. Italian actor Gina Lollobrigida took this photo of Cassidy in 1974 after they met at what awards ceremony? Lynn.
The Logie Awards.
Correct! 5 from 5. You don't see it often. Yeah, he won TV Week King of Pop Award the previous year, and he also won Best Agricultural Display at the Royal Show. Time now for Harrison and coffee. The word coffee is thought to come from a region known as Kaffa, located in which country? Harrison.
Ethiopia.
Correct. Made popular by the Bialetti family, 1933 saw the introduction to Italy of which coffee-making, Harrison?
A mocha pot.
Correct. Which coffee-making device? Mocha pot is correct. Company boss Renato Bialetti actually died in 2016, and I'm not making this up. His ashes were put in a mocha pot. The coloured layer of foam appearing on the surface of an espresso is known by what, Harrison?
Crema.
Correct. What Italian name? Crema is correct. In the title of the TV series, people of what profession get coffee in cars with Jerry Seinfeld? Dan for the steal.
Comedians.
Correct. Double points to you. Last question in your set, Harrison. What citrus fruit is added to coffee to make an espresso romano? Harrison.
Oranges.
Incorrect. It's wide open. Come on, you risk-averse bastards. Neil for the steal.
Lime.
Incorrect. Come on, Dan. Lynn. Lynn for the steal.
Lemon?
Correct. Double points to you. Next set of questions is for Neil on Anne Frank. To avoid Nazi capture, Anne's family and 4 others took refuge in a space she called Het Octahouse, or in English, the secret what? Neil.
Annex.
Correct. Yeah, Het Octahouse is actually the name the book was originally published under in Dutch. Anne's journal was first published in English in 1952 with the title The Diary of what? Neil.
A young girl.
Correct. Yeah, it actually sold over 31 million copies. And in 1944, Anne actually rewrote it to get it ready for publication. Anne addressed many entries in the diary to an imaginary friend. Neil.
Kitty.
Correct. With which feline-sounding name? Kitty is correct. In 1944, all 8 people in the annex were found and arrested after a police raid discovered the entrance hidden behind what movable, Neil?
A bookshelf.
Correct. What movable piece of furniture? Bookcase is correct. It's generally thought that someone dobbed them in, but it's also possible they were found by chance just during an investigation into ration fraud. Last question in your set, Neil. In the guest book of the Anne Frank House Museum, Neil.
Justin Bieber.
Incorrect. I'll finish the question. Justin Bieber wrote in 2013 that he hoped Anne would have Harrison for the steal.
Been a fan?
Incorrect. Dan for the steal.
Being a believer.
Correct. Double points to you. All right. Last set in the expert round, it's Dan and the 1868 Aboriginal Cricket Tour. Appointed coach and captain of the Aboriginal team in 1866, Tom Wills later contributed to their codification.
Australian rules football.
Correct. Of what other sport? Aussie rules is correct. Bowler Zelenak, or Johnny Cousins, was known for a style of overarm bowling named after what agricultural structure? Wide open. Time's up. Windmill. Yeah, overarm bowling was still quite new to cricket back then, and it's possible Cousins actually brought that action back to Australia. Back then, everyone bowled underarm, so everyone was a bad sport. In a post-match display of tribal sports, Jungan Jinanyuk, or Dickadik, showcased his skills with a shield against locals who paid to throw what at him?
Cricket balls.
Correct. So what did he used to do? He would...
So he had a shield, and people would stand about 10 yards away and pelt them at him, and he'd deflect them all away.
Yeah.
I think he only ever got hit once on the whole tour.
Twice.
Twice,
Only
yeah.
2 beat him, yeah. Specialist fielder Bripham Yarraman, known as King Cole or Charlie Rose, was an ancestor of which Aboriginal boxing champion? Dan.
Lionel Rose.
Correct. Yeah, he fell ill during the tour and he died in hospital later due to TB. Last question in your set, Dan. Murrum Ganari Man, or Twopenny, scored 22 at Bramall Lane in Sheffield, making cricket history by scoring how many runs off one ball? Dan.
9.
Correct. He ran the entire 9 runs, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And there were no overthrows. Basically, he belted it so far away that the fielders couldn't be bothered picking it up.
That's right, yeah.
At the end of the expert round, Harrison, you're still at the bottom on 5, but you can make up some ground in my round. Lynn, slightly less smug at 35. Dan in his natural state of smug on 40. All right, we've moved through their subjects. Now let's move through mine.
Tom's round. Tom's subject, multiple choice.
This week, I've been really getting into handkerchiefs. There's nothing more gratifying than emptying your snout into a rag and then folding it up and keeping it in your pocket. This round is multiple choice. Select your answers on your screens, then press the buzzer to lock in the answer. In 1785, King Louis XVI of France decreed that all handkerchiefs should be what? A, silk, B, square, C, white, D, made in France. The answer is B square. Good get there, Harrison. Yeah, the legend is that Marie Antoinette made him do it because they had nothing better to do, like avoid a revolution. Upon their introduction in 1924, Kleenex tissues were marketed for what purpose? A, blowing noses, B, cleaning babies, C, removing cold cream, D, cleaning spills. The answer is C, removing cold cream. That was the original intention, but people wrote them letters saying, turns out they're really good for blowing your hooter on. Kim Jong-nam, half-brother of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, was assassinated in 2017 using a handkerchief and what toxin? A, ricin, B, VX, C, Novichok, D, cyanide. Did the coffee just kick in, did it, Harrison?
I had 3 before the show.
The answer is B, VX. Yeah, Kim Jong-nam was actually carrying the antidote in his pocket when he was killed. But the key is you're supposed to use it. After using handkerchiefs to fashion a prototype, Mary Phelps Jacob received a patent for what invention? A, parachute, B, umbrella, C, bra, D, tea bags. The answer is C, bra. Yes, that's right. That's what the original design looked like there. So the bra was patented by a woman. So remember that when you burn your bra, you're burning a woman's fine work. Neil, you're at the bottom on -10, but the last question in my round's worth double points. You need to get this right. Have a look at these dickheads flinging around their snot rags. I had to take the music out because it'd give it away. Which style of dance is this? A, Kalamatianos, B, Kiga, C, Morris, D, Dabki, E, Hora, F, Falana. The answer is C, Morris. That's right, they're doing the Morris dance. The end of my round. Neil, you're at the bottom on -15. Get over here. What happened, Neil?
Didn't know the questions, didn't know the answers.
Yeah.
Couldn't cheat.
Is that what you teach your students, is it?
Not at all.
No, OK. All right, well, I've got a secret door for you to walk through. Out! There he goes. Ridgy Didge, it's the People's Round!
The People's Round against the clock.
Put your feet up, play along at home. Your time starts now. What are you cleaning if you're brushing your pearly whites? Dan?
Teeth.
Yes. In American television, CNN is the what news network? Harrison?
Central News Network.
No. Cable. A tall clock that stands upright on the floor shares a name with which relative? Harrison?
Grandfather.
Yes. Which country in the UK is not represented in the design of the Union Jack? Harrison?
Wales.
Yes. The Margarita pizza was named after Queen who? Dan?
Margaret?
No. Margarita. In standard blackjack, players must get as close to but not exceed... Harrison?
21.
Yes. First staged in 1953 was Samuel Beckett's play Waiting for Whom? Lynn?
Godot.
Yes. The first mammal to be cloned from an adult cell was a sheep named... Lynn?
Dolly.
Yes. Created in 1922 out of brewer's yeast is which Australian breakfast staple? Lynn?
Vegemite.
Yes! Time's up. Just got in. Harrison, too little, too late. Get over here. So now you're all wide and you can't go to bed.
So I really, I stuffed up. I under-roasted a lot of those answers. So.
Yeah. I think you burnt the beans, mate. All right, you know what this means? Out! There he goes. See you later. All right, only 2 left. Who's going to be the hard quiz champion? Lynn and Dan, get over here because it's time to play hard quiz.
Final round, head-to-head. The 1868 Aboriginal Cricket Tour versus David Cassidy. Hard quiz.
Now, there can only be one hard quiz champion who gets to take home the limited edition Big Brass mug. What will you do with the mug, Lynn, if you win?
Well, the 16-year-old girl would just put a big love heart on it. The somewhat older woman would just get every single thing that he'd ever accomplished engraved. There probably wouldn't be enough room, though.
Okay. The good news is it's brass too, so you can't magnetise it. What about you?
I thought, given the theme of your insults tonight, it might make a nice bucket of ice with some champagne.
Oh, la-di-da. It's best of 5, penalty shootout style, harder questions on your expert subject. So it's Lynn's knowledge of David Cassidy versus Dan's knowledge of the 1868 Aboriginal Cricket Tour. Let's play. Hard! Lynn, in 1972, David Cassidy lost a Coca-Cola sponsorship for a TV special as a result of doing what?
He did there was an article and accompanying photographs for Rolling Stone magazine. And the photographs, which were beautiful and by Annie Leibovitz, were also almost nude.
Correct. What does that do to you, Lynn? Is it a
Am I 16 or am I somewhat older?
Has it brought you back online? That's what I want to know. That was racy back then. Now that's just every second photo on Instagram. Yeah. Dan, after the Victorian government attempted to put a stop to the tour, the Aboriginal team departed the colony by boarding boats at Queenscliff under what pretence?
They said they were going to go fishing.
Correct. Yeah, we're going fishing. These cricket bats are for fishing. Lynn, in 1978, Cassidy was nominated for an Emmy for his one-off performance in which television show?
Police Story.
Correct. Yeah, he played undercover cop Dan Shay, which led to a spin-off series called David Cassidy, Man Undercover, in which he also played an undercover cop called Dan Shay.
For the record, he actually really hated that they called it that. They were trying to...
Stop sticking up for you, mate.
It's my job.
He did a shit show. We've all done shit shows. Dan, the Aboriginal cricket team wore caps featuring an emblem made up of what two items?
A boomerang and a cricket bat.
Correct. Yeah, that's the cap pin from the memorabilia of Charles Lawrence, one of the players. This is the highest scoring last round we've had for a while. It's really thrown me off. I'm used to people getting nothing right. Not sure how I feel about it. Lynn, conditions at Cassidy's 1974 Melbourne Cricket Ground concert prompted a Victorian government minister to declare that he was what?
He was a health hazard.
Correct. 300 fans fainted and 50 more were injured. Dan, the Aboriginal team's first victory was in their 6th game against Lewisham, with Unaramin, or Johnny Muller, taking how many wickets for the match?
I don't actually know, but I have a sneaky suspicion it might be 13.
Incorrect. Back on track. This feels right, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, he took 10 for 44. Batsman Brim Bunya, or Redcap, was awarded a silver cup for making his team's top score of 12. I think Johnny Muller got ripped off, really. 10 for 44. Lynn, in an interview for Ritz magazine in 1985, Cassidy stated that what he wanted more than an Oscar, a quadruple platinum album, or 15 Grammys, was to win what?
So he breeds racehorses and bred. He's passed, but he bred racehorses and he really wanted to win the Kentucky Derby.
Correct.
Sorry, Tom.
Dan, if you get this wrong, then Lynn, you are tonight's hard quiz champion. During the tribal displays, the Aboriginal players would often wear possum skins and cabbage tree headdresses featuring the feathers of what bird?
Lyrebird.
Correct. If you get this right, Lynn, you are tonight's hard quiz champion and the first person to get 5 right in the final round. You haven't had that happen yet. Here's hoping it doesn't happen. Shut up, you magnetic bastards. Here we go. Lynn. Cassidy was persuaded by Donald Trump to be a contestant on Celebrity Apprentice in 2011, but was first to be fired after losing a challenge selling what?
Pizzas.
Correct! Which means you are tonight's hard quiz champion! 5 from 5. Never been done. Dan, you know what this means? Out! There he goes. See you later. Congratulations, you are the hard quiz champion. You get the big brass mug and you get to do the sign-off.
Thanks for playing hard.
And if you reckon you can stand the hard quiz heat, go to